Did you know that the dreaded rectal exam, feared by so many men, might not be as essential as it seems? And what if I told you that science has shown it can often be completely unnecessary? That's right. Today, I'm going to reveal why this widely promoted practice may be outdated and how you can take care of your health much more efficiently, all while keeping your peace of mind. But there's more. I'll also explain the cases where this exam is, in fact, crucial and life-saving. Curious? Then stick around because what you're about to discover might completely change your perspective on this topic. Picture an invisible enemy, growing slowly and silently, giving no sign of its presence. This is prostate cancer, the second most common type of cancer in men, surpassed only by lung cancer. But unlike an obvious adversary, it hides, waiting for the right moment to strike. It all starts with a single cell, just one, a cell that mutates in its DNA and begins to rebel against the body. This cell, which should follow the natural rules of growth and division, chooses a different path. It begins to multiply uncontrollably. What results from this? A small cluster of cells that no longer obey the body's commands. Over time, this cluster grows and transforms into something dangerous, cancer. What's most alarming is that this internal battle is silent. In most cases, there are no alarms, no pain, no evident symptoms. The body continues to function normally. Sometimes the first symptoms are so subtle, they're easily ignored. A slight discomfort while urinating or pressure in the urethra. But when these signs appear, the tumor has often already grown significantly, pressing against nearby organs or even spreading to distant areas of the body. Here's the most surprising detail. In most men, prostate cancer grows so slowly that it can take decades without causing any significant impact on health. Many men live their entire lives without ever knowing they had this cancer. However, for some, it can be aggressive, advancing rapidly and becoming a real threat. But don't worry, all is not lost. As stealthy as prostate cancer may be, science has equipped us with powerful tools to detect it before it causes harm. Even when it tries to go unnoticed, there are ways to reveal its presence, and this is where we start to take control of the game. The first step in this battle, the rectal exam. Yes, it carries a stigma and discomfort for many, but it remains one of the most effective tools for detecting changes in the prostate early on. The gland, located near the rectum, can be directly assessed by a doctor looking for signs like hardened areas, changes in texture, or an increase in size. With a precise touch, the doctor can evaluate this vital gland, checking if it maintains its smooth, firm texture, or if there are irregularities that might indicate a problem. These few seconds can be crucial in identifying a small cancer that is ready to be treated. The second weapon is less invasive but just as powerful. The PSA blood test, prostate-specific antigen. This molecule is naturally produced by the prostate, but elevated levels in the blood can be a warning sign, not only for cancer, but also for other conditions, such as infections or inflammation. Why were these exams once recommended as part of a combined approach? For years, it was believed that using both the rectal exam and the PSA test together offered the most accurate and effective detection. But what if I told you that the world's leading health authorities are rethinking this approach? It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But let me explain. In the United States, the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force has redefined the rules of the game. Previously, routine PSA screening was recommended for all men, but in 2018, they updated their guidelines, suggesting that men aged 55 to 69 should make an informed decision with their doctors about whether or not to undergo the test. This new perspective treats each case uniquely, and for men over 70, routine screening was deemed unnecessary. The message is clear. Fewer tests can sometimes mean better quality of life. The United Kingdom has taken a similar approach. The National Health Service, NHS, does not offer a mandatory national screening program for prostate cancer. Instead, men aged 50 or older can request a PSA test, but only after receiving detailed information about the benefits and risks. This strategy emphasizes informed decision-making, avoiding unnecessary tests and treatments. But why these changes? So, should you get tested to detect prostate cancer as early as possible? This is a question far more nuanced than it appears. For years, campaigns reinforced the importance of PSA tests and rectal exams as essential tools. But today, science is steering this conversation in a new direction, revealing that the answer may not be as straightforward as we once thought. Back in the 1990s, we witnessed a revolution revolution in the fight against prostate cancer. Men over 50 or 55 were encouraged to undergo annual tests. The goal was ambitious: to identify cancer in its earliest stages and start treatment as soon as possible. Early diagnoses soared, and it seemed like a major victory, but the victory wasn't as clear-cut as it seemed. Long-term studies unveiled a troubling reality. While screening did detect cancer earlier, did it truly save lives? The numbers tell a sobering story. Among 1,000 men who did not undergo routine screening, 7 died from prostate cancer over a 13-year period. Among those who adhered to regular screening, 6 deaths occurred. 1 life saved per 1,000 men screened. This raises a fundamental question: are we using resources in the most effective way? These and many other studies have led health authorities in countries like the United States and the United Kingdom to adopt more cautious and personalized approaches. The idea is no longer everyone must get tested, but rather who truly needs to be tested. But let me ask you this: if a single life could be saved through a simple rectal exam or PSA test, wouldn't it be worth it? After all, every life is invaluable, right? Absolutely. But here's the question few dare to ask: what's the cost? Not just financially, but in terms of the emotional, social, and quality of life impacts on those who go through this process. Now think about it. To save 1 life, we subject 1,000 men to years of testing. That's 1,000 men facing the anxiety of waiting for results, the discomfort of the exams, and in many cases, diagnoses that lead to unnecessary treatments. Because yes, that's exactly what happens. Mass screenings detect not only serious cases, but also tumors that would never have become a problem. These false villains lead healthy men to undergo surgeries, radiation therapies, and treatments that often result in urinary incontinence, erectile dysfunction, and other life-altering complications. Now stop and think. What if those resources, time, effort, and money were redirected towards something greater? Imagine using all that to improve treatments for those who truly need them, or to invest in research that develops more effective, less invasive therapies, and perhaps even a definitive cure. Instead of saving just 1 life, we could save thousands. And more than that, we could significantly improve the lives of countless men. This is exactly what modern science is showing us. When it comes to prostate cancer, the idea of detecting as early as possible isn't always the best path. The reality is that in most cases, we're dealing with an enemy that prefers to wait rather than attack. This type of cancer, in its most common form, grows so slowly that it can take decades to cause any symptoms or become a real threat. Many men go their entire lives without knowing they carry this tumor and without it ever affecting them. Here's a revelation that could completely change how you view prostate cancer. When I first came across this data, I was speechless. Autopsies performed on men aged 40 to 50 revealed that 37% already had prostate cancer in their bodies. Yes, more than a third. But here's the key point: these tumors, in the vast majority of cases, would never have caused any problems. They were there, silent and harmless, and would have remained so even if these men had lived to old age. Now, consider the impact of this. If all these men had undergone screening, many of these cancers would have been detected. It sounds like a victory, right? But don't be fooled. Detection does not always mean salvation. For most of these men, the diagnosis would only trigger a cycle of emotional stress, additional tests, and invasive treatments, all to combat something that would never have become a real threat. That's why medical societies worldwide, based on strong evidence, recommend that men without symptoms avoid regular rectal exams or PSA screenings. Yes, you heard that right. In many cases, not getting these exams is the better decision. So the most important question remains: who really needs these exams? Who benefits from early diagnosis? There are situations where rectal exams and PSA tests are not just recommended, they are essential. If you have a family history of prostate cancer or even breast cancer, you are in a group with a higher genetic risk. But that's not all. Studies show that black men or those of African descent face up to a 60% higher risk of developing prostate cancer and a mortality rate 3 times higher than other ethnicities. These numbers cannot be ignored. That's why recent guidelines recommend that black men begin screening at age 40, with PSA tests and rectal exams performed regularly, preferably annually, until at least age 70. The same recommendation applies to men with a family history of cancer. Early detection in these cases can be the difference between effective treatment and a difficult battle. But don't worry, this doesn't mean you should act alone. Every case is unique, and it's essential to consult a urologist to evaluate your individual risks and determine the best approach for you. This is a decision that requires specialized guidance. But there's a second situation. When symptoms begin to appear, it's important to pay attention. Frequent urges to urinate, difficulty starting urination, or a weaker than usual urine stream are signs that could indicate a problem. Waking up multiple times at night to urinate, experiencing pain during urination or ejaculation, or noticing blood in your urine or semen are clear indications that something isn't right. Difficulty maintaining an erection or a persistent feeling that your bladder isn't fully empty also deserve attention. These symptoms could signal changes in the prostate or other conditions that need to be investigated. In these situations, rectal exams and PSA tests become essential for identifying the cause and enabling timely treatment. I know the idea of a rectal exam might cause discomfort or even anxiety. That's normal. But rest assured, in most cases, the first step is a blood test to measure PSA levels. Only if abnormalities are found will the doctor suggest a rectal exam. And let's be honest, a moment of discomfort is a small price to pay for the peace of mind that comes from taking care of your health. Did you find this information helpful? If so, don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. And hey, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It helps us reach more people. If you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Here, you'll always find informative and relevant content like this. Want to support the channel and help keep this work going? It's easy. Simply make any purchase on Amazon after clicking one of our links. It won't cost you a penny more, but we'll earn a small commission that helps keep our content online. Before you go, I have a special recommendation for you. Check out our video on H5N1. Could this virus become the next pandemic? Find out why it's raising concerns among experts and what you need to know to stay informed. I promise the insights we share will surprise you and give you a fresh perspective on the topic. The link is on the screen now. Don't miss it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.